Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Craftable Mythic of Xathenos. He was added in the most recent patch that ended up bringing us the Soulforge and dungeons. You obtain him by going into the Soulforge, having all the way to level 10, going under troops, and then building up this thing. For it, you need all three weapons of Xathenos, 4,000 diamonds, 50,000 souls, and 300 gems. Quite expensive, and out of any of the mythics that are currently craftable, is the most expensive out of all of them. The three weapons that are required for it are the Soul of Xathenos, the Heart of Xathenos, and the Eye of Xathenos. So those alone are 300,000 souls, a bunch of those little resources, 150 gems, and 9 celestial trade stones. So he is by no means cheap. So what exactly does he do? He steals a bunch of life and half the magic from an enemy, and if the enemy dies, it then summons a bunch of troops, anywhere from 1 to 3 undead. This is currently the second troop in the game that is capable of summoning multiple troops in a single cast. Currently, the only other troop that can do this is Sir Gawain, and he can do it for 14 mana, every single cast automatically, though he does not have any damage, the Sir Gawain that is, on his ability, whereas Xathenos does have it. As far as traits are concerned, it has a decent combo here. It is both immune to Devour and immune to Death Mark, which makes it immune to both of the instant kill abilities, making it so it can rack up a lot of HP, and it doesn't need to worry about just instantly dying out of nowhere, so that's pretty nice. As far as its final trait, it is pretty ineffective, that is for sure. All it does is 4 life and 4 magic when an enemy dies, and this is only applied to undead. It is even applied to your entire team, so it is extremely limited, though the fact that it does create undead does make it slightly more useful. As far as undead troops, undeads are a little bit lower tier as far as what can be summoned from this. For example, he cannot summon himself, and the only two exceptionally good undead I can really think of off the top of my head would have to be things like Crimson Bat and a Draculus. Those are pretty much be the biggest two things that he would end up summoning. There are a few others, like let's say Keeper of Souls or something. The only problem is they have so much conflict with him that I don't really think there'll be much of a benefit to the team. So Crimson Bat and Draculus are among the only two things out of the dozens upon dozens of things that he can summon that would actually be useful. Most of the other stuff that he summons are pretty much just going to be cluttering up the team. So let's get into several teams with him. Let's go with this one first, the Rock Troll, Dark Troll, Apothecary, and Xathenos. This is mainly for the purpose of getting all the mana we'll ever need onto the board, and then from there we can pretty much just keep solo shotting on him. Of course, our only damage source is the Xathenos, but one thing that we do have as a benefit to this is the fact that we won't really need to worry about him dying, because even if they try devouring him, not going to work. If they try doing anything they want to do, it will not work unless they just happen to do damage or drain spam. Drain spam, like any mythic, it is very effective against him, so do have to watch out for that. As far as what we aim for, we would want to hit for something that has high magic. Unfortunately, literally everything on his team has a ridiculously low magic, so we got a little bit unlucky with that. One thing to note about magic values, if you are unsure what to target on and don't want to have to click on every single one, of course you can see it in the corner what their magic is. That's what that one image is right in the corner there. But an easy way to tell if it has a lot of magic or not is, are they a summoner? Every single summoner in the game has a really high magic level, at least relative to other options that are in the game. Also, he just tried devouring our mythic right there, as you can see. Oh, he did it twice, because this thing has indigestible too. That is pretty funny. As some of you may know, as this current moment in time, Impervious is glitched at the moment, and it doesn't have immune to devour. But indigestible still works correctly, and apparently he just devoured both our rock troll and our mythic, meaning he didn't get any devours at all. So that was actually really lucky on our part. He could have got a lot of value there, but he did not. Also, you may have noticed he double casted with Great Maul. That also isn't supposed to be possible. That will be fixed in the near future as well. So as far as our current board, not really what I want to see. He's about to keep our souls, though, so I'm going to have to let that happen. He does get skull distracted, surprisingly, But we'll go throw this down. I won't be able to do much yet. Going to be able to get a skull that will knock him out. Unfortunately, we do lose one of our core troops, which of course is always unfortunate. But if we can just get the board more in our favor, we should be able to make that comeback. Just need to get our mana, get the nice alignments, which I kind of just ruined right there. Probably should have just converted it before taking that purple. But oh well, we'll go and I guess we'll take the skull here. Kind of want to take the mana, but we have such a gigantic mana pool that we need to fill. That's not really worth going for as of this current moment. So just keep getting up the Xathenos. He is a relatively slow troop as far as using him. He is pretty sturdy though and not dying, so I feel like he will be more of a kind of like Guild War troop than he will be a PvP troop, mainly due to how slow he can perform in many battles that he does. And as I mentioned earlier, a good majority of the undead that he does summon are relatively useless. As far as undead, they're definitely not one of the better categories to summon. Some of the best ones already exist, such as Daemon Summons and Dragon Summons are among the two best, and there are a couple troops that can already do that. As far as the undead, there are some necromancies and stuff that may occasionally be useful, but as far as actually winning the battle, there is a very, very small, maybe like 10% area within undead that are actually particularly useful. So right here, we will go for another solid kill. It is a little bit hard for us to really rack up our one-shots. Generally, he is pretty decent at one-shotting the enemy team. In the case that when they have ridiculously low magic, like in this kind of battle, it's going to be a little bit harder. One other thing to note about Xathenos as well, based on his colors, is a good majority of what he summons he's actually going to be blocked by. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're using him. Generally, I do use him as a third slot kind of troop. In this particular team, I use him in fourth simply because I just throw every single mana generator at it. And we are getting not the best of outcomes right here. We're just going to go and get that drain right there. I want to get this thing killed so we don't have this gigantic 54 attack pressuring us the entire time. So there we go. We do get the resummon. As I mentioned, really, really sturdy. You can see he's already at 312 HP. You can also see that we summoned literally the worst troop in the entire game. Yes, I do consider him that, mainly because he plays the death mark on himself, which is ridiculously bad, and he only does average damage. It's not even like he has extra. But yeah, undead fails. Fails of summoning undead. It will be negative more than it will be positive, that is for sure. Though, in all fairness, I did get a first slot Draculus when I was testing this earlier, which felt quite amazing. But almost all the time it's going to be something horrible, which is his biggest downside. You're basically just summoning meat shields. You're not really going to be hoping for something decent most of the time when you get a summon. So another one, this one is a loop version, though I feel slightly scared using that against the Queen Mab. Probably not the best of ideas, but we will throw it down. It's Green Shirt Giant Spider loop into the Xathenos. We're also using a Mist Stalker for cleanup, so hopefully if we have a little bit of the same issue that we had the previous battle, at least we'll have some kind of way to clean up that last little bit of damage that we might need. Of course, the Mist Stalker will automatically hit the weakest, which is exactly what we needed to in this kind of situation, so that'll work out perfectly fine. Right here, we hopefully have alignment. I did not see it. That is unfortunate. Really? Nope. Okay, well then. Since we don't have the alignment, we're just going to have to find an alternative move then. If I could find an alternative move, that'd be great. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just move the purple over, I guess. One mana off, though. That's mainly because I didn't give it enough. Okay, we'll go throw it down right there. I'm not too worried about removing out the green, at least initially, just so we can get our initial cast off, get the kind of double combo going, and then go from there. So we can choose to kill basically any one troop on the team right now. We have 29 true damage plus 28. What's that going to be a total of? It's going to be a total of 57. So yeah, we can kill literally any one troop that we so choose. And as much as I hate these Devourers, I believe I am going to go for the Queen Mab, because I hate the Queen Mab even more. So double check that there's no extra turns, though it won't really matter too much since we're about to get rid of the biggest effect that he has off extra turns. So we get that killed. Go and see if we have a green seer. We did not, mainly because I kind of denied it earlier. Slightly my fault that we don't have it now, but let's hoping the board would shuffle itself enough that we would be able to get that mana. Apparently not. We'll get another giant spider. That should be a bit more usable, and yes it is. We'll get that right down on the yellow. That does give us our ability, though not enough to land a one-shot anywheres. We also do not have the Mist Stalker for cleanup, which would generally be used if we didn't have the one-shot, like in this instance. So let's clear out the board some. Oops, I was trying for the extra turn there. I didn't see the other move there. Whoops. Oh well. Not going to matter too much. He does have that ability. Hopefully he'll just get skull distracted. Let's actually start pressuring him just in case he does, and he does. Perfect. And then we can just clean up with Miststalker and basically just rinse and repeat until he goes down. Don't you dare devour. Okay, he devoured. Oh, and he gets first slot kill. If that wasn't enough, you greedy. So greedy. Okay, so let's go and take the blue right there. See if we can get these purple down somewhere, and we can get that right down on the blue. That gives us a summon, though not really a summon we need, though in all fair... Oh, that is not the direction I meant to take that in. But in all fairness, he isn't really going to make a summon we need either. So it kind of balances out that way. So we'll just take a blue right there. Not worried about a summon. Oh yeah, he will go for the kill. And we'll just throw his on first slot since we're not going to have enough anyways. And then his follow-up, we'll be able to get all of the summons. So now, since we did lose the giant spider there, I was looking at it as like, oh yeah, we'll be perfectly fine because he can't devour us. Nope, the extra damage will hit the giant spider. He does hit the last two. And that is indeed within the last two, that is for sure. So he'll just take a skull, another skull. That would not be good, so let's go take one ourselves. So he has the lower amount of skull damage. Apparently we're going to get all of our summons when we already finish out the battle, so it won't really do much good there. Luckily, even if he did devour there, that wouldn't have actually done anything. We do have 66 damage, and right at the end, we got to finish with an entire team of a useless troop, and a useless troop. So yes, this is what will happen when we only have the undeads to summon. Maybe in the final battle, we will get something decent. And now here is where he can kind of shine. You kind of saw a little bit in that battle. But if one thing Xathenos can do really, really, really decently, also I think I said his name about 5 different times during this video, the one thing that Xathenos can do pretty decent is coming back from a really, really bad battle. He can basically solo an entire team as long as that team has no mana drain on it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mana drain going around right now, but assuming they don't have it, he works out pretty decently. So right here, we're using kind of like a Crimson Bat version. This used to be used quite a bit with Crimson Bat, and then it kind of stopped because it was way too inconsistent. But we don't really care because he can come back regardless of what really happens. So we'll do that. For any of you that don't know what this combo is, it's basically just kill the Sacrifice fully traded, or kill the Death Knight class fully traded. This then death marks everything. This then gives you a boost ratio for Sacrifice. That gives you a lot more magic. And then boom, we just have a 60 damage on our Xathenos that we'll be able to throw down. We'll go take the Browns over. That gives us what we need to go and start one-shotting, and we can go replace out that one shot. So what's the most important thing to kill on the enemy team right now? I think we just go Christinex, just because it's probably going to be one of the more annoying ones. I kind of want to go Dragon Soul, but I don't feel like we're going to get much value. And again, another useless summon. It does not come in with Empowered, because that trait only triggers at the beginning of the battle, so not really giving us any value at all. We'll go and throw that down, and we do get a little bit of yellow in there. Let's see, what else do we need to move? But yeah, as far as Xathenos, I believe he will get buffed in the future. Generally, when they add mythics, they do add them a little bit weaker, and then they possibly buff them in the future. I do believe Xathenos might be one of those kind of troops. I kind of wish he had partly a mana drain on him to kind of go with the whole draining thing that he has with stealing life and stuff. He can maybe steal some mana too. I don't know, I just feel like Sir Gawain, if he needed the summons, would end up being the better summon. And as far as single target abilities, there are much better single targets out there for cheaper mana. Of course, he does both simultaneously, but you could easily just do both of these on separate troops and get better value than trying to do them both on a single troop. Also, his final trait does almost nothing at all for him. I think we barely even triggered it during this entire video. And the value that you get out of it does not feel like a mythic trait whatsoever, that is for sure. So we'll go get that. We can go and sacrifice out our last troop to get even more magic. Our magic at this point is through the roof. He has more magic than he even knows what to do with at this point. So we'll go, and I guess we could just kill the sacrifice at this point, because like I just said, he has more magic than he'll ever need. It's not like we need to keep sacrifice alive anymore, so we'll just kill it out. That'll give the mana we need to go get sacrifice back up. Wish it could stop doing every single turn and ever. Let's see, will it end its turn? Yes, it will. Okay, so Dragon Soul, can we get lucky enough to kill you? No. No is the answer. And again, as I mentioned, useless undeads. We got a ghoul, which is useless. A vampire lord that is useless beyond like level 100, which we definitely are beyond level 100. So definitely not the best. And as I mentioned, I think 5% of his summons are actually good. Whereas if you compare that to Daemons or Dragons, where about 90% of their summons are decent. It's one of the reasons why Amnesia is pretty sought after. It's mainly because every single summon she has, well, aside from her being good in Guild Wars, but it's mainly because every single, oh wait, not Amnesia, but, oh, what was the other one I was trying to mention? I actually completely forgot what it was. The one that can summon any, daemon. Completely forget what it is off the top of my head now. But yeah, Amnesia is mainly used because it can keep summoning Inferno King, which is still a really decent daemon, nonetheless. But anyways, we'll go throw that down, get our true damage that we need. We get another useless one. No surprise there. He's never going to die, though, pretty much. He has way too much HP and gains way too much HP. Or I wouldn't say too much, but, you know, he gains a lot of HP every single time. So we don't really need to worry about him going down, that is for sure. Oh, it was Demonic Gates. That was the one I was thinking of within the context of Guild Wars. Demonic Gates. I remembered. Okay, well, we'll go move that down. This thing isn't really going to do much. Just going to pretty much leave it there. 111 in magic. We're just going up and up and up with that. Go get another one. What did we get this time? Still useless. Can we get at least one useful one? Let's see. Let's get it mana back. Let that thing die and see if we can get anything useful. Even just once. I just want to see it once. Give us anything that's even remotely okay as a troop. Let's see real quick. You take a skull. Good. Now that's dead. Now let's just get the last little bit of our mana. And oh yeah, we're being completely blocked. That's the other issue. Almost all of his summons block his mana, with a few exceptions. That wouldn't be too big of a problem if he actually had some kind of mana generation or some kind of mana, any way to gain mana back on his ability. But because he loses all of his mana after he casts, and the fact that he summons can block him, it makes it really hard if you're not using a pure looping team to get that back. Okay, I know we already won, well, assuming it dies, but can we please get something useful to summon? And no, we did not. Surprise, surprise, but yeah, let me go look under undead before we end out this video. What can it summon? So if we go search undead right now, this is everything that it can summon. Actually, let me go do the classification of undead. It will give us a better overview. It won't give any of the other troops. So here it is. Here is every single thing that it can summon. So let me say, if in the context of summoning, not just a troop in general, but in the context of it being summoned in front of this troop, is it good or bad? Bad, 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 situational, bad, bad, good, 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 bad, 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 situational, bad, 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 bad. Yeah, I'd probably say that's good. It depends if you have traits. Bad, 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 could be good. Average, bad, bad, average, average, and can't summon itself, and bad. So yeah, did I say 3 troops basically? It's basically Captain Skullbeard, Crimson Bats, Draculus, and Death are about the only 4 it could really summon out of every troop that it has as a capability of being summoned that would actually be useful. Captain Skullbeard because it gives the mana generation you'll need. Crimson Bat because it has 2 times skull damage, plus it just has a lot of true damage, which synergizes well with it. Draculus for basically the same reason, and Death mainly because it does a bunch of death marks and also has some true damage if you happen to have it fully traded. So that is a very, 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 very limited drop pool of things that are remotely useful, and I guess Sunweaver. But yeah, that is very, very situational, and the chance of you getting something good out of it is very, 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 cannot emphasize that enough, slim. But anyways, that is Xathenos. Is he worth crafting? No. Is he something you should craft if you want a full collection? Yes, of course. But it's not really something I would go out of the way for. There's definitely other mythics that exist within the game that you'll be able to craft within the Soulforge that will be better than this thing. That is for sure. Most notably Fairish Ra, Amnesia for Guild Wars, and a few others that are out there, but particularly Fairish Ra. Fairish Ra, Famine, Amnesia are probably the top 3 priority. Personally, I would go for Fairish Ra as my first one if I didn't already have it, mainly because it's so exceptionally good at farming souls, better than anything in the entire game. So that's my personal pick. I know some people might want to go for Famine, some other people might want to go for the Amnesia, which is actually available right now, so some of you might be able to craft that instead of a Xathenos. I said her ability wrong earlier, but it does a large amount of mana generation, plus it summons an Inferno King, and Inferno King, while it does block her color, she does have the benefit of actually accumulating quite a bit of it back, and a final trait that actually does something particularly to all daemons, which is the aspect of her that I was thinking earlier when I was thinking all daemons. But anyways, that's Xathenos. If you still have any questions about him or anything else with Gems of War in general, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.